Blog Talk Radio.
Sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
And liftoff. Liftoff on another Tarot Today radio episode here on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dax Carlisle, a certified life coach, clinical hypnotherapist, tarot advisor, and numerologist, coming to you live from Tucson, Arizona. And joining me, as always, my fabulous co-host, certified tarot master, crystal Reiki master, and the vice president for certification for the Guild, Mary Brown. Here she is live from Amarillo, Texas. Hi, Mary.
Hey, Dax. Hey, everybody. Happy Psychic Saturday.
Here we are. Back on the air again. Yep.
2021.
Oh, gosh. I hear that intro music, and it gets me excited for Tarot Today Radio. We're the only radio show on the network that uses that, actually. We have a different intro for the other shows. People have been asking me about it. We're actually using the track called The Fool from the album Tarot by Rajan Paquin. He's a French-Canadian composer, created that, many, many, many moons ago. And you can actually check out the entire album. There's like 22 tracks, one for each of the major arcana cards in tarot. Just go over to our website, thetarotguild.com/music. That should take you right to all about it. There's links to his page and where you can find the music and buy the album. It's great. Every single track on there is wonderful and really matches up with the major arcana cards. So it's thetarotguild.com/music. There we go. Oh gosh. Hey, Mary, we got a great show today. We have a guest. Woohoo!
Yes, it's very exciting. This is going to be terrific.
So we'll still be taking your calls. We're going to chat with our guest, but we'll be taking your calls if you want to call in for a mini reading, something like that. Plus, we have the chat post and everything. Mary, do you want to tell folks how they can call into the show?
Absolutely. I would love to tell them that. And it's really pretty simple. The thing is, first of all, okay, you got the number, but you don't just dial the number. Once you dial the number and you're listening to the show, you better press 1 on your dial pad if you want to be on the air. Otherwise, we have no idea that you're sitting there wondering why we're not taking your call. So we don't want that to happen at all. And I know that it's happened before. I've actually talked to people and said, okay, you dial the number, which is 711-646-28, 714-816-4628, and you have to press 1 on your dial pad. Otherwise, we're never going to get to you. And we really want to hear what you want to say to us, what you want us to look at.
Absolutely. And there's another way you can communicate with us, because we know some folks, they're listening quietly at their desk at work or something like that, so they can't really, get on the phone. The boss is like looking right at them, kind of thing. You can sneak in and chat with us via text, because we have set up chat posts on our Facebook group. I made a URL that'll take you right there. It's called psychictalk.net/chat. And just go to that Facebook post, and in the comments below, you can use it like a chat room. So you can ask questions, you can ask for a mini reading, you can comment on the show, talk to other listeners, talk to us, all at psychictalk.net/chat. And that URL is good for all of our shows all week long here on the network. Oh, I also wanted to mention, of course, today's show is sponsored by the Tarot Guild, the international organization for tarot lovers, students, and professional readers since 2004. That's right. We're in our 17th year. Stop by and visit us at thetarotguild.com, our main website for that. And we have a group on Facebook with, 6,300 people on it. We have a group for Psychic Talk Radio on Facebook as well. Also Twitter. We're all over Twitter. So there you go. Now that we got all of the announcements out of the way, we can bring in our fabulous guest. She is a newly minted certified tarot master, Corbie Mitleid. I said her name wrong already. Corbie Mitleid. we were talking about this before the show in the green room, and it's like, you know how to pronounce my name, right? And I screwed up already.
And you said it right like 5 times, but as soon as we're
five
on the air.
times in a row, then I get on air and I get all nervous. And hey, I've only been doing this for 10 years, people. 11 years. Sorry, I've only been doing this for 11 years. We're coming up on our 11th anniversary here. But let's bring on. I think she's in New York. Anyway, she's an author. She's a tarot master. She's the fabulous Corbie Mitleid. I think I did it right that time. Let's bring her on.
Yay!
Corbie!
Hello, Dax. Yeah, you got it right the second time.
Are we having fun yet or what,
Oi.
All right. So we are so thrilled to have you here. Are you in New York?
Yes. Actually, I'm about an hour west of Albany in Schoharie County, very rural. We say it has 32,000 people and a bunch of cows and sheep. And for our girls who grew up outside of Philadelphia, it's a different planet.
You're a Pennsylvanian to begin with?
Actually,
oh my God.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Talk about Jewish American princess land, let me tell you.
Awesome. We love our princesses. Come on.
Mary and I are from Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
of course
so
you are.
we're neighbors.
Pennsylvania instead of Pennsylvania. It gives you away right there.
Yeah. I also don't pronounce what. I don't pronounce water. It's water.
Wooder. Like
Yeah.
WOODER. Yeah, I remember.
I'm from Pittsburgh, where we eat jumbo instead of bologna and have a hoagie and wash our hands.
And you drink pop instead of soda.
We wash them.
Absolutely.
Yep. Lovely. So now that we've gotten our little cultural differentiation
we've got quite we've got diversity. So, I am so amazed by just, we are a tarot show, and we talked about your tarot credentials and that kind of stuff, but my goodness, you are just such an accomplished author. And just look at the book, and really, I want to just put this out there. So while people are listening to the show, they can also be looking at your website, and that is, they just need to go to the main one, right?
CorbieMitleid.com. That's right.
Right.
And you see everything I'm doing, and there, if you scroll down, you'll see information about the books and the whole 9 yards.
And, one of your books really, really caught my eye as one that I think could be so helpful for so many of our listeners and our guild members, and that is You've Got the Magic, Who Needs a Genie? Because you talk about you know, the whole expo circuit. And I think that like a lot of you know, especially like newer readers and even some that have been around for quite a while have always sort of wondered about that. Like, how do I get into that? How do I, you know, how does that work exactly? You know, and could you talk a little bit about, you know, what was it that inspired you to write that book, and, you know, in what ways can it help people that are interested in taking that approach with their business?
Well, my friend, the late, great Allie Cheslick, best medium I ever knew, she used to refer to me as the travel channel because I was on the road 45 weekends a year, coast to coast, into Canada, and loved it. I mean, reading 1,200 people a year. My longest show was a 4-day show in Canada that went 3 to 9, 10 to 9, 10 to 9, and 10 to 6. So I would end up reading 60 or 70 people in a weekend and doing 2 lectures. Now, you are not going to do that when you're a greenhorn rookie, my darling, so don't even try.
Yeah.
But what you do need to know, actually, I have 2 books that work. If you're just starting and I want to be a reader but I don't know how, I'd say go first with The Psychic Yellow Brick Road, How to Find the Real Wizards and Avoid the Flying Monkeys. Because while I wrote that for people who want a reading but don't necessarily want to do all the learning, a lot of psychics came to me and said, you know, if I had had that when I was starting out, I wouldn't have made so many mistakes. So even if you're not planning to be on the road, that is the first. The book about the A-Lister's Guide to Holistic Expo Success. Guys, I'm going to be 66 in March. I'm tired. I have a herniated disc and pinched nerves, and my doctor said, we love you, but you are not going to do 10-hour drives anymore, and the load in and the load out. So there I was. I had 18 years of knowledge. It's time to pass it on to the younger puppies. Sorry, guys, that's what I call you. And a lot of people, what I used to do when I was at shows, if there was a rookie there, I'd say hi, I'd bring him over to my table, I'd show him all my stuff, I'd give him copies of my, the paper goods, the flyers, etc., and I'd say, any idea here you like, use it for you. The only thing I say is don't take my words. I did have one person once who plagiarized, and I landed on them hard. But for the rest of it, no, look, you're not going to read like I do. So fine, if I have a blue and gold booth and you have a blue and gold booth, big deal. It's the intangibles that are going to work. So You Got the Magic, Who Needs the Genie literally goes through everything that I learned being on the road for that long. Of course, when did it come out? March, just when the pandemic was saying, hi, guess what? Nothing's going to happen. But that's okay. There's an old saying, when a fisherman can't fish, he stays home and mends the net. So if you want to, in 2021 and forward, do this stuff, this is what you work with. For instance, the basics, 4 things: choosing which fairs to do, designing your booth look, dress for psychic success, and choosing a front person. Then it's the social approach, the intangibles, the keys to self-care, the grab bag. And there are also some appendices that show you things like my sign-in sheets and my very extensive front person job description and the lectures that I do. Use them, guys. I'm done being on the road except for very, very rare local ones. So if you want to go and knock people's socks off, I applaud you. Look through that. And the other thing is, look, I'm going to be honest. You're going to see some things in there called Corbie Gets Candid. All right? These are not the, gee, isn't this a nice thing? There's one, the chapter, Keeping in Touch with Your Clients. Corbie Gets Candid. A decade ago, I received an anonymous death threat on my show table one morning from someone who did not take kindly to my reading the day before. Because we had their handwriting on my sign-in sheet and the note, we were able to match up the two, and the promoter, as was proper, took things from there with the local police.
Wow.
You know, people say, why do I need to bother with, why can't I just write it down? It's because you need their handwriting, just in case. So That's why I'm really straight in the book, and I tell you some of the scary stuff. I was about a schnoot away from doing a reality show last year, but said no because with the crazies out there, death threats these days, if they don't like what they see on the show, can get worse. So I am perfectly content to be me at home, read online, on the phone, do my appearances on YouTube. Perfectly fine. It's all going to be your choice because there is room for all of us. You are never going to find an AI robot that can do what we psychics do. You won't.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Somebody finally said it. I've been waiting for someone to say that.
I know. Everyone sees Zoltan on the commercials. Oh, Zoltan, I want to shake your hand. Whack. No, Zoltan is not going to tell you what to do about your career, kid. That's us. So.
Absolutely. And, and it's so funny because Dax and I mean, we've been, we did a show where we talked about, our robots, the future, like for everything. And, Dax, they're not, right? They're part of it, but they're not going to be able to do this job. There's a lot of things they aren't going to be able to replace us with AI and even, the Alexa hypnosis thing, Dax. I can't replace you.
I was just going to say that, that's what we found out like last week, okay, so my other hat as a hypnotherapist, it's like Alexa is going to replace me. She's already doing hypnosis with people. I'm like, oh my God. But, you can't, God, I mean, the AI would have to be, 10, 20 generations for what we have now for it to like even begin to analyze the complexity of somebody's life.
You're talking sphere data on Star Trek Discovery. You are. The way I explain it to people when they say, oh, sure it will, you have physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physical and mental, yes, AI could do. But the emotional compassion toward you, no. And the spiritual, remember on Lucifer, Mazikeen the demon, so much wants a soul.
Yes.
Because demons don't have souls. Okay? AI does not have a soul. And it is the soul that gets the intuition. It's not an algorithm.
Yeah. And that can't be, I don't think that can be stated enough because I don't know what's going on, but I feel like we have to return to our connection with our soul on a lot of levels. There's a lot of people that are doing that, a lot of people that have always done that, but there's just a real need for an emphasis to be placed on that right now in the midst of this information age, this technology age.
Well, I think a lot of people that when they go at this from the science side of things, what they're missing is, and I keep referring back to, it's called AI for a reason, people. Artificial intelligence. It cannot ever, no matter how good the electronics, no matter how great the programming gets, no matter how many generations of, quantum computing, I don't care. It cannot create consciousness nor connect with consciousness. It can't. It never will.
No. You have had such wonderful success, Corbie, and such an accomplished author and so successful as a psychic medium. What was it that made you get into what's your connection to tarot? What made you want to
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
This goes back to what I call my 30-second elevator speech. All right.
Awesome.
In 1973, well, actually, we'll go back to when I was 9. When I was 9, there was a book I read called The Witch Family by Eleanor Estes. And instead of thinking, ooh, that's scary or ha, 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 I thought, and your point is, I knew there was magic in the world. I wanted to go find it. Now, forward to 1973 when I was a senior in high school, working part-time at Spencer Gifts. Now, that's the year that Live and Let Die came out with Jane Seymour as Solitaire, the tarot reader. So they had the James Bond 007 tarot deck, which is still published under Tarot of the Witches. Well, I bought it. I mean, we were all hippies then. We had our elephant bells and our fringe jackets and our decks. Now, 5 years later, everybody else had moved on to roller skates and disco ball, not me. I loved the cards. I loved the stories that they could tell because, you know, you say I'm an author. Words are my drug of choice. They really are. So I just kept reading for 20 years, making sure that I, as John Holland says, it was just the tube. I was the clear channel. My ego wasn't involved. It was doing everything I could to help them. All of a sudden, in 1994, I could do hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training. That's kind of when the universe handed me my draft notice and said, greetings, you're working for us. So I did it part-time. And I've had a very checkered career. Actress, author, inspirational speaker, legal assistant, video producer, comic book writer, and, you know, executive recruiter for engineering and manufacturing. But the tarot was always there in the background. And I did the healing work, the intuitive work part-time. Boom, 9/11 came. And as my husband and I watched the towers burn, I looked at it and I said, I need to do this work full-time. People need to know there are other answers out there. And he said, I believe in you, go do it. So for a year, I still worked as an executive recruiter for 70 hours a week for a woman who threw files at my head when she didn't like what I told her, and read on the side to make sure that I could make a living at this. And once I was sure, I basically went in, figuratively peed on her desk and left, and I have never looked back. And I work 6 days a week. I read about 1,000 people a year, and I get to get up every morning. I don't have to get up every morning. That's the secret.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Yeah. And, you know, I love that because I think that is a journey that a lot of our listeners go on is we come to tarot maybe in those formative years, maybe when we're young. For me, it was like 15. For others, you know, younger, like, you know, even. And there's something about it that when it really does resonate with us, it's always in the background. It always is a part of it. But, you know, people get that sort of nervousness about bringing it to the forefront. And when you bring it to the forefront because you are either feel called to do so or you're inspired to do so, and that's when you're doing the good work because you're meant to do it. That's what I think.
Well, it's also why I chose the name I did. You know, we talked about this earlier. Why don't I use my legal name, etc., and my home phone number? I was doing that in the beginning, and so I used to get calls at 3 a.m. from drunks. Hey, the bitch left. Do I have to wait for her, or can I screw the girl down the street? She's hot. And it's like, I don't need this at 3 a.m. So I knew at that point I needed to find cell phone and a different name. And at that point, this is back in the 80s, 90s, the thing was polysyllabic names ending with A. Alianza, Paranoia. I mean, I don't care what it was, but that was too fluffy for me. So I said, all right, got to find a good first name. And I realized Corbie is Gaelic for raven, and crows and ravens have been my baby birds for years. What do I do about a last name? I speak some German. The word Mitleid means compassion, and when that is your last name, you never forget about why you're doing the work. It keeps the ego in check. So that's how Corbie Mitleid happened.
You know, and that you know, look, I am a firm believer that it cannot be underestimated how important it is to be able to keep our, you know, check our egos at the door when we're doing this work. Leave it out of it because it keeps us authentic. It keeps our connection, you know, to what spirits we may feel we connect to, whether it's our guides, as we call them, or whether it's a guardian angel. It's like we can't be about us, you know?
You know, there's a chapter in Psychic Ellenberg Road called How to Handle an Off-Message Psychic Reading. sometimes things just devolve into advice, and it's like, I didn't come to you for advice. Looking at these 3 possible jobs at these 3 colleges I want to go to. So the example I use is, what do we all get 95%? We get the romance calls. Does Bruce love me? What does Bruce think? So fine. We have our 5 cards. Mary, Bruce, the relationship, what they need to know, and best possible outcome. And if she still goes, I don't know what to do, then I pull what I call my 3 threes. The first 3 are status quo. You do nothing. You kind of just bumble along. Second 3 are the come to Jesus meeting. Line in the sand. Y'all got to do counseling. It's tough. The third is hostile. Bye-bye. It's nice. I'm so done. I'm leaving. Now, I might see, honey, you need to leave. But after I tell her all of these things, I say, what feels right to you? And if she says, I think I'll stay, unless she says she's being physically abused, I have to shut up. Yeah. And that is one of the things that beginning readers have to learn. Guys, it's called free will. We hand them the toolbox, but we are not the repairman, or they'll never learn.
Yeah, they have to decide. We can't make the decision for them. We can't do that. That's not the job.
That's right. And there are times when they will think we are handing them a line. And yet we know we're reading it right. One of my favorite stories. This was the show in Kitchener, the long show. And there was a woman who sat down with me, and I, saw a couple of things. Number one, she was going to take in a boarder, and she was probably going to want to sell her house during the year. And she looks at me and says, you suck, and she walks away. Well, okay. Who's the first one in my chair the next time I'm there? That's the woman. And she sits down, and she says, last time I said you sucked. I said, yes, I remember. Because you told me that I was going to take in a boarder, and then I was going to sell my house, and I thought that was all bull. But my daughter got pregnant and moved home, and now I'm going to sell my house to help raise my grandson. And I still don't like you, but I want to know what else you see. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. Now, if I had tried to make it nice for her, she wouldn't have gotten the message. And who knows if she might have collapsed because she wasn't ready for all of that. We're not 100%, guys. Even the best of us are only 85% accurate. The only one 100% accurate is God, and he doesn't have a booth at a psychic fair this week. But you've got to learn to trust what you're putting out there. And if your ego is parked on the shelf reading a magazine, you're not going to be thinking in the back of your head, oh, I can't tell her this, or am I sure, et cetera, et cetera. You're not going to be right all the time, but you will be right enough. And that's where you have to go.
Yeah. And I'm okay, and I hope all of our Tarot Guild readers and listeners who do readings for others are really, really okay with the idea of being mere mortals, Like, I'm totally all right with that. I do think that, you're right. God doesn't usually seem to have a booth there, but at the same time, it's kind of a funny thing when you're omnipresent, right? And people can get kind of confused and feel that. And I think in society, too, it's like we need to work on the skill of being humble and allowing each other to be human, and to know that we're not going to be 100% doctors, aren't 100% scientists, aren't 100%. We don't have an example of anyone else that we even admire being 100% accurate. And so it's a real, it's not fair for us to expect that of ourselves or to demand it of others. That's just my thought on it. Dex, what do you think?
I totally agree. And conversation. Time is flying by. We're almost at the bottom of the hour. I just wanted to jump in and let the callers that are waiting on the line know that, yes, we are taking calls. But Corbie is just way too much fun. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about this, Corbie, because the only reason you're on the show today is because I didn't know you from Adam, is because you found the tarot guild. And I'm always curious about that. I'm always curious about, okay, how do people find us? And, like, how did you find us? Why? Why did you decide to join? And the big question, somebody that's as accomplished as you, been doing this for forever, and has multiple books under her belt and so forth, reads for 1,000 people a year. Why'd you want to get certified, get on the wall at this point in your life? Okay, I think she's thinking. Did we lose Corbie?
No, accidentally I hit the mute button because I was having a coughing fit.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
We do that all the time on this show.
Yeah. But seriously, many years ago when Moses was in diapers, there was a group called the Tarot Certification Board of America. They're long defunct. But through them, I became a certified professional tarot reader. And people like it when you're paper trained, which is what I call that. How do I know you can read? Well, these people said I could read. And everyone asks me, oh, I want to get certified too. How? And I knew they were gone. So I started looking around to see if there was, I will say it, an honorable group who knew what they were doing and could take people down. So that's when I found you folks. I liked the idea that the fact that I'd been doing this for damn near half a century counts for something. I am never going to be a master teacher because A, I'm too funny, B, I have too much fun, and C, I don't work well within, well, here's this module, and here's this module, and here's this module. And it used to be with the old group, Certified Tarot Master, you have to teach. Well, and it took not into account how long you've been doing it, how many people you've read, what your experience is. You folks have a real reality understanding of it isn't just the book learning. It is the life experience. It is that innate intuition. You know if somebody is just a card reader or they're a tarot professional, a tarot master. Also, all of the ways that you can teach, the social aspect that you have in book, and here's how to read, and here's some examples. This is what the beginners need. So that's one of the reasons I joined. I love the fact that, yes, finally someone sees I am a master. But remember, I turn around and I pass on the knowledge. And your group makes it easy for me to do that. Maybe not as in, today we're going to read about the swords cards. But, yeah. Corbie, how the hell do I do X, Y, Z? And boom, I'm right there. I'm a very eclectic teacher. But to me, if we are true masters, we must pass on our knowledge. That is part and parcel of what we are asked to do. You guys make that easy.
Each one teach one. You know, that's the thing that pops into my head. I've always loved that motto. You know.
Yes. And now when people say, well, is that wherever you got your certified, I say, no, they're not around. But this group you want to be part of, and I immediately send them over to the page. So it makes life easier for me because I know they're getting started on the right foot.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
wow.
You know,
Thank you for
think that is
Welcome.
such a huge compliment to us, you know, from someone, you know, so accomplished. You know, it means a great deal. And we're so glad to have you as part of our Tarot Guild family.
Well, you say accomplished, and it makes me sound like I think my aura don't stink. I prefer to think of it as been there, done that, sold the franchise. You know, I just seen it.
Well, other people are allowed to say it about you, you know.
Well,
it's
all right, yes. I
people,
won't correct
when people
you,
blow their own horn, that's when it's scary, right?
Oh, please. Yeah. You know, but one of the other good things about this is it teaches you also self-care. Do you know how many times people have come up to me at psychic fairs and stood in front of my booth and said, well, tell me something you couldn't know about me, and if you're right, I'll have a reading. Do you know what I do? I look at them and smile and say, I'm sorry, I don't roll over and fetch either. And I turn my back and they don't get a reading because they're not serious. They're fishing.
Yeah.
They want to see if they can beat the psychic. You don't play that game with me. Or even if you guys out there are new readers, you do not have to do that kind of one-trick pony stuff. You don't have to prove yourself, so maybe they'll like you. They want a reading, they step into your booth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and that is the thing, and that is so, it's not easy. You know, Dax, you know this. You know, it's not easy for a lot of people to step out there, and
charge.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
How many times have we been told, "Oh, your gift is spiritual. You should read me for free. If you don't, you're not spiritual." Sorry.
What?
I've got an entire chapter in. You've got the magic called "How to Charge What You're Worth." Because, guys, just because what we do is spiritual stuff doesn't mean we have to do it for free. I mean, I have people try this exercise. They write down all the good things that people get from their services, like people get clarity from my readings, my work helps relieve pain and soothe stress, I help people to connect with their loved ones for comfort and protection. Now, when you pop the name of somebody well-known in there, listen to the difference. People get clarity from Sonia Choquette's readings. Deepak Chopra's work relieves pain and soothes stress. John Holland helps people to connect with their loved ones for comfort and protection. And you would never say to those three, why are you charging? Because you think they know their stuff. You have a right now. You may not charge as much as I do. That's normal. You're a rookie. But you charge.
Yeah.
You make sure that you get fair pay for fair play.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is kind of a. I mean, you know, I know what you mean. I think you can't be online. You can't be on any group or connected to any tarot spiritual community kind of without coming up. Without people pushing back on it. And a lot of people make the decision, I'm never going to charge for anything I do. And I think, okay, that's fine, keep your day job, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, that's, it's a personal choice, but it shouldn't be turned into this kind of pressure campaign to prove who's really spiritual or who isn't. We're never going to win that.
Right. Thank you.
What I always say is that people are paying for my time, not for the reading. They're paying for my time. And my time is valuable just like anybody else's. And that's one of the big things we want to do with the Tarot Guild is get people to realize, well, basically everything you just said, Corbie, that we're making a living. We're not doing this as a hobby. Some people are, of course, but if you're joining a guild is an organization for professionals. And if you're a professional, you deserve to get paid. And I remember when I started doing this, several decades ago, the average was about $1 a minute. So let's say $60 for an hour. Now it's more like $2, which is like $120, which is on the low end of what a life coach or a psychologist would charge. When people ask me, what do I charge? I say, well, okay, what is the counselor and the plumber charge in your area? What do professionals charge? Go look at that. And maybe
it
take
will
an
be
average.
different in a big city than out in the country. It will be different based on what they do, how much they, time they spend, that kind of thing. When people say, well, you're supposed to be reading me for free, let's take a look at what it costs me to be at a show, okay?
Exactly.
You've got the booth fee. The booth fee is anywhere between $150 and $1,000, depending on the venue and the length of the show. Then there's the hotel, and came for my front person, and gas and tolls and food, and it's not just the financial overhead that gets factored in either. You know, being away from the husband I love for 10 or 12 days every month had its own emotional tariff. Then add in the years I spent learning my craft. And 11 hours a day at my desk. You gonna pay me for that, guys. Otherwise, I'm going to burn out in short order.
Oh, yeah. And for me, it's like, how much do I spend on tarot decks? You know,
Well, if you're Mary Brown, you spend a lot over a year on tarot decks and oracle cards.
Well, look, believe it or not, I think I have bought Eric Dunn's Tarot Illuminati at least 8 times since it came out in 2013. Why? Because by the end of a 12-month period, that poor thing wants to go out to pasture.
Oh,
and so I buy a new deck and it's fresh. So, yes, just like you have to change your tires and you have to put gas in the car and you have to do your oil changes, you're going to get new decks. When they get so tired, they go, I don't want to play anymore.
Oh, totally. And also, I love the different voices. I love the different voices of deck artists and creators, and it's a totally different vibe to me. And, you know, I want to be able to read for anybody, read on any question, any situation. And somehow early on, I got that in my head that I needed to have that variety in those voices. And, yeah, my Illuminati deck definitely got worn out. I do all my readings for the most part. I do them all online. I work for one of the big online services. And so I'm, you know, going by the minute, you know, 6 days a week. And those cards get worn out.
Tarot is your meat and potatoes. Tarot is your meat and potatoes, what everybody knows. And I say that's my everyday tour bus deck. House, car, job, kids, okay, God, you put me here. What the hell am I doing? But I do have other oracle decks that come in as adjuncts. For instance, I admit I no longer use Doreen Virtue because of what she's done. But people used to. Please. For those of you who don't know, she, you know, had all of these decks for years. Then she was born again. Then she said, everything I taught you and all of the things you bought from me, they're evil, they're satanistic. But now you can buy my Jesus deck. I don't think so, woman. One of my favorite oracle decks is the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud and Jessa Macbeth. Brian Froud did the puppetry work in Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. And so that's my deck. It is not your ootsy-cutesy fairies. They march inside your head and rip up the floor tiles and give you homework. And if somebody looks and says, oh, they're scary, I want the angel deck. I used to have her deck. Now I've got 2 others that have replaced it. One of them is Angels of Atlantis, and the other one is a brand new deck that I found that I love called Prayers of Lord Ganesha. And for those of you who don't know Ganesh is the Lord of Obstacles in India, and everybody loves him. And if people here don't know, I say, okay, he's the Indian equivalent of you go to South Philly and the Italian-American grandma has the peeling statue of the Virgin Mary in the back by the tulips and the barbecue.
Exactly.
And they go, oh, okay. And when I get
and my relatives had that.
Yep. My best friend growing up was Elise Marie Josephine Galasso, does that tell you? But the deck taught me how it wanted me to read. And that's one of the things. A tarot deck will teach you, an oracle deck will say, here's how I really love to dance. And for the Ganesh deck, for instance, it's a 6-card spread. Core of the situation, what's blocking you, what attribute you have that will really come to bear on this, and an ally that Ganesh wants to send you. Then don't be fooled. This is the card that says you may think this is going to work for you, baby, but it won't. And the last card is do it this instead. And there is love, and there is compassion, and there is gentleness, and there is, we know you can do this in that deck. The fairy deck is more like whack upside the head, and it's for people who are really deep dish and really don't mind being told clearly where they're stopping themselves.
Yeah.
So, but remember, oracle decks are adjuncts. They're a great way for beginners to learn, but the meat and potatoes deck is always going to be tarot because people know it and think of the hundreds of years of thought forms and understandings that have gone into powering the cards.
Yes.
Oracle decks are wonderful, but they're VW bugs. This is a Lamborghini. Which one you want to drive?
Oh, I want the Lamborghini. I like the bug too.
Bug is fun for tootling around, but no, if you have to get me, if you have to get me running up the hill on a snowy day in upstate New York, I want my Subaru because it has all-wheel drive. But yeah, it is important that you learn tarot because that's going to give you so much nuance and so much depth, and will teach you how to put things together with classifications and the astrology and the numerology that's part of it, and you will learn how to interpret. Because remember, if all we did was read a deck based on what the deck said, we would not, anybody could read. Now, one of my favorite, and you'll find your way of describing it. One of my favorite cards is the Seven of Wands. In this deck, it shows a man standing there with his staff raised, and there are 6 staves coming at him. And it's typical Seven of Wands thing. But I call that the whack-a-mole card. And I say, you ever played whack-a-mole at the county fair? And they go, yeah. I say, well, that's what's coming. Crisis to crisis to crisis to crisis, but it'll be fender benders, not a T-bone and not a totaling. So get ready to deal with it. And you're not going to find a book that says exactly that. You know, standard for Seven of Wands is, I'm pulling out my Power Tarot book here. You're meeting the challenge, whatever form it takes. Your next step is to tie up the loose. And yeah, that's right. But when you look at a card and a card says, this is what I'm always going to mean to you, you're a better reader. For instance, there's a Prince of Swords card. Now, that can mean marching in, getting what you want done, et cetera, et cetera. But in my deck specifically, I call it the archetypal Italian guy card. Jealous, possessive, wants what he wants when he wants it, doesn't care whose blood's on the sword, high stress. Especially when I'm doing a where's my guy. But, so, again, it doesn't mean that because I read it that way and you read it a more standard way, either of us is wrong. Our decks talk to us the way we want them to talk to us, the way they understand us. They are our partners. Yeah, they're not scary monsters. They're just ink on paper. But it is the intuitive, archetypal energy that is pressed into each of those card meanings after hundreds of years that partners with you and says, look, why don't we tell them about their situation this way? It's why you've got to make friends with your deck. It's not just a tool like a crankshaft.
No, it isn't, and it's I find it all the time. I feel like I've been trying for years to describe to people what tarot is, what tarot reading is, and it's like it evolves. It evolves and evolves and evolves, and there's, I don't know, I could say like there's an energy there. And I love that you said thought form, because really, when you, that much energy over, since the 1400s has been put into this deck, and those understandings that everybody added a little bit to the soup as time went by, and it evolved, and we evolved with it, and we, we have readers today that read very differently from how the first readers read. They read very differently.
The world is different.
Yes.
I mean, in 1847, if you were reading a tarot deck, you would not look at the Eight of Wands and say, this is about electronic communication, especially if it's fax or email or something like that. They would look at you and say, are you speaking, galactic? But what is communication in the 21st century? It's electronic. So you add that layer on top of the original meaning of the card. That's how the cards grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And because that's the thing, it's so important to me is when I get tarot students that are, they've already done some work, and what they've got is a list of keywords from somebody else that they copied, and we'll be going through something, and something like the chariot card will come up and they'll be like, victory. I'm like, okay. So, victory, eh? So what kind of guidance is that to you? What does that mean to you when it comes up in a reading? When you have a question, if you don't start with the question and allow the cards to answer the question, then having a list of keywords it doesn't help very much.
Right.
And can get us stuck.
Look at the card. There are 3 cards that weird out rookies. Death, the Devil, and the Tower. I always mention them if I think someone needs to know. I say, if they come up, I'll tell you what they mean because it ain't that. And let's look at the Tower. Yeah. The Tower, burning and bodies falling and, oh, my God, my world's going to do it. And I say, no. Think of it like the imploding sports stadium. So, Mary, you're from Pittsburgh. So let's use Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Okay. Steelers want to build a new stadium. They got to blow up the old one first. So what the card is saying, there's going to have to be a clearing in your life. Things must be gotten rid of that are stopping you from what's going on. But rebuilding is the whole idea. People are less scared.
Yeah. People get scared. I've had people get scared with the Tower card. They're like, oh, I'm going to lose everything. And in certain decks, there's a couple decks that I have where the way the Tower is depicted is kind of clear. And because of that, one thing I learned from one of my decks is, guess what? You're not going to lose everything. Everything isn't going to fall apart. You're going to be left with the foundation. You're going to be left with that foundation of who you really are. And guess what? That dust is going to clear, and then you build up the gotten away of really seeing, with clarity. Now you're going to have a really clear perspective, So I think that, there are no, right? In a way, there are no bad cards. I hate that idea that people think, oh, this is a bad card. It's like, no, everything's got nuances to it.
Somebody sees the death card and I see their eyes get big. I say, it doesn't mean you're going to be hit by a bus on Tuesday. Stop that. It's death of an old way of life, death of what you've outgrown, death of what was never you in the first place. Then they stop being scared and they listen.
Yeah.
So it's another reason why you must make friends with your deck. You must look at the allegory in the pictures so you can tell the stories. People love stories.
Yeah.
And they
absolutely, they love stories. I mean, that's how that's our oldest teaching method is telling our stories and telling stories.
And by the way, Corbie's teaching right now. You were talking about, I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to go in the classroom. There's a lot of ways to teach. Writing the books. People are reading the books. You're teaching them. You're teaching them right now on air. So it's still happening. And
I agree with you. It's just I'm never going to be somebody that hands out a syllabus and gives you a quiz. Ain't my thing.
Yeah, go to Module 4, and no, I've already done that. That's
wrong,
folks. If you want to learn tarot numerology, at least at the basic level, I got a whole course for that. Tarot by the numbers. It's been doing it since 2004. It's on the website, tarotguild.com. Shameless plug. And but we want people to teach in the way that they teach, and it's the same thing with getting the certifications, because it shouldn't be cut and dry that, okay, you have to go through this hoop, this hoop, this hoop, this hoop. What is this person's experience versus this person's experience? They're both masters. Now, I bring this up because on our chat post, psychitalk.net/chat, one of our Tarot Guild members, Rini, asks, what's a master? Hey, people, don't even know there are tarot masters, And back in the day, when we had the certification boards that are all now defunct, they had, just some ridiculous things that you had to go through and everything like that. And then on the other side, we had people going, master, there can't be a tarot master. You never master tarot. The naysayers. And it's not about a exhaustive, complete mastering of the topic. No, you never master tarot. It's a lifetime pursuit. Same thing with numerology. You know, I'm always learning, studying, learning new things that I, you know, wouldn't have even thought of 30, 40 years ago, you know, when I first started out. So it's not about that. In fact, if you look it up in the dictionary, master means having or showing very great skill and proficiency. That doesn't say know everything. Okay, folks?
That's
and
right.
So we don't have an arbitrary or a what's a better way of putting it? We don't at the Guild have we have certain prerequisites, but not like how the boards used to do it, because we want to take the individual into account. Maybe they don't teach in the way that we want them to teach. They used to also judge on the type of, you know, your God, what's the word for it? You know, what deck do you use? What's your methodology? You know, all this stuff. We don't care. We care that you can read the cards. Okay? And they also used to have like a billion different levels. It's very simple, folks. You know, you have first level, certified tarot reader. Okay? There's a quick quiz, little test. We can tell if you can read the cards, okay? And then you have professional tarot reader. All right? That's somebody that is a certified tarot reader that has just done it for longer. They've been doing it for several years, and they've grown as a professional. Maybe they've written a book. Maybe they have created a tarot deck. Maybe they have written a bunch of articles on tarot. Maybe they've taught. It's different with each person. Maybe they've gone out and got complimentary certification. So they went out and got a life coaching certification or NLP, hypnosis, you know, anything that can be used in the context of tarot related to it. Then you have certified tarot master. And, you know, that's what Reedy wants to know about, proficiency and skill. And one other little added thing that I'll throw in the mix here is that they've been doing it for decades, or bare minimum, you know, 10, 15 years. So you got the proficiency, and they've shown the professional development in one way or another. There's a lot of ways you can show the Guild that you've done that. And then you've made some kind of a contribution to the world of tarot. Now, with some people, it's very, very obvious. We know the big names. So tarot masters and grandmasters, you know, James Rickliffe and
Mary Greer.
Help me out. Mary Greer and Rachel Pollack, and you know, I mean, the big names. But you don't have to be a big name to make a contribution. Maybe you have a fabulous website. Maybe you have a radio show and or podcast like we do. Maybe you've created an organization. Maybe you have trying to think of some other examples that have happened in the past. You know, design courses, written books, published, created tarot decks. There's a gazillion ways that you can show a contribution to the field of tarot. You know, and that in combination with experience, length of time, and everything like that, that's what makes you a tarot master. Not that you've mastered tarot or, you know, everything. And then grandmaster in our system is usually an honorary title. It's usually somebody that everybody knows. They know that you're a leader in the field. But you can also earn it. You've been doing it for the prerequisite number of decades, and you've shown that you have contributed back to tarot. So you can earn that title. So there are 4 simple levels, and some people come in, they're brand new, and they, you know, take my course, and they apply for certified tarot reader, and we certify them, and then they work on getting up to the other levels. Other people come in like Corbie that has been doing it, you know, since dirt was created, and they already have all the prerequisites under their belt. They've been doing it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. They have written books. They've created tarot decks. They've created podcasts. They're doing a YouTube channel that has 1 million subscribers. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you qualify, and you show this and you get certified. So some people come in and they go. I still we still make them do the very first level. Do the CTR, but then the professional and the master is based on these other prerequisites and experience and time and things like that versus testing. So we still do the test. You pass the test, you get your CTR certificate. If you have the other qualifications, you get the other certificates. So Corbie came in and went boom, 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 boom. So I hope that explains, to Renee and people out there listening, what is a certified tarot master. And anything you want to say on that, Corbie, from your experience?
Sure. Think about the old apprenticeship kind of things. Apprentice, journeyman, master. An apprentice is there doing the book learning. You come in, you take your first course here, and you pass, you're an apprentice. Journeyman is when you've done enough work on it that you're comfortable reading for other people. Maybe you go and you try a small psychic fair. You're a journeyman. You are saying, okay, now I've got the theory, let's try practice. Master is, yeah, kids, been there, done that, sold the franchise, let me tell you some stories, honey. And a lot of the mastery is a level of confidence, a level of trust, both in our years of experience and a level of trust that the cards are our partners, they love us, we love them, and let's see a difference we can make in the world. That's, to me, apprentice, journeyman, master.
I love that.
And that's where we came up with the name Tarot Guild, actually. Mary, what's your thought?
I love that. My thought is this, there's one other thing about, the way that we, approach it, too, is that I think of over the years, so many really great tarot readers that I have known and, got readings from myself, got a few tips from about things, learned a lot from that, before the internet, these people were known in their communities, respected, loved, had clients, that kind of stuff. But maybe not so much outside of their communities. Maybe they lived in a mid-sized town and they were the reader there. And I think the way we approach it really gives an opportunity to those people that have been, doing the work and, really know their stuff. It gives us an opportunity to have that piece of paper behind them too, if they want it, that there's a pathway where they don't have to feel like, and this is a weird thing, for many years, and I've heard this even from some of the big names, is that they feel like, it's just a real small click at the top, and this is true in so many different industries. It's definitely true in the entertainment field, right, where you see the same actors in every movie, over and over again all year long.
You've got your A-listers. Yep.
Exactly. They're the ones that get the big paychecks. They're the ones that, get to, make some decisions that other people don't get to make, and so I feel like in a sense this is the way our approaching it this way kind of levels the playing field a little bit. It's like, hey, if you are, Madam Endora, who's been a successful and small reader and really a good reader in small town USA where everybody knows you want that certification too. You don't have to be part of the clique. Come over to the Tarot Guild. We can recognize, professionals. We can recognize someone who's reached that level of mastery of their craft, that they know what they're doing and they really are a really vital part of the tarot community. And so I like that aspect, jumping through all the hoops and everything that some of those crazy things, like you had to write a poem, you had to write, it was like, and I'm a poet and I don't have a problem with writing a poem, but I'm like, really? I know everybody doesn't have that skill set, okay? So do we have to do this to poetry, as well? So I think it's more rational. So we take a more rational approach to it. And we make room for people, to, like you,
absolutely.
And that's, Dax, you talk about, a lot in the past. You've talked about people, it's a pet peeve of people that walk around with that lack mentality, or, there's not enough clients for all of us, so I have to be really competitive and try and, jostle my way through this. It's like, no, there really is enough. There's an abundance here, and there's room for you. We want to make room for people and give them a home if they're looking for one.
Absolutely. That's what the Tarot Guild's all about. And let me jump in because the time is like really escaping us. We got to take some phone calls here at least a little bit, before we go off the air here. But what a powerful conversation. And now we've got to have Corbie back because I think, we lightly touched on your books, and I'd like to, do a whole show on one of your books, kind of thing. So we definitely have to have you back.
Yes,
awesome. Now remember to go over and check out her website here, and I actually put it in the chat post, but for those of you listening or listening in archive, it's CorbieMitleid.com. In case you don't know how to spell that, Corbie Mitleid, CorbieMitleid.com. Go over and check out the website, and if you're still having problems with that, go to psychictalk.net. Look for today's show in the archives, and on the show post, everything is linked. All of her books, her website, everything's linked right there. So before we go to the phone calls, Mary, do you want to let everybody know what's coming up on the network? Because we got some great shows in January coming up.
Yes, we do. And so what we've got coming up on the Psychic Talk Radio Network, our next show is going to be on Sunday, January 10th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's the Magic Universe with host Sharona Rapsick and special guest, our very own Maria G. Moss, Master Angel Practitioner and President of the International Association of Angel Practitioners. And they're going to be talking about, what else? Angel magic. So you want to tune into that tomorrow, and that'll be followed on Monday, January 11th, 11 a.m. Pacific, again, 2 p.m. Eastern, with the Wisdom of the Soul show with your host, Janice Fuchs. And Wednesday, January 13th, is next up here with the Compassionate Light Healing and Guidance Hour with host Catherine Hahn. Her topic is The Beauty That Is You. Friday, the doctors are in with host Dr. Rose Wilkerson and our very own Dr. Dax Carlisle. And you guys are going to be talking about the 2021 World Year Number, Personal Year Number, plus doing open lines, life coaching, tarot mini readings. And then Dax and I will be back next Saturday, January 6th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, with the Tarot Today radio show. We're going to be doing New Year's readings and open lines, and that's what's coming up on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. You can find all of those shows listed by going to psychictalk.net/upcoming.
And we've got them listed out. Thank you. Back to Dax.
I love doing that.
I love when you do that. You're the only person that does that I do shows with, and it's like, it's so cool. It's so funny. And on that page, the upcoming show page, I actually have it all filled out all the way to February, so you can go check out all the shows coming up. There's a lot of stuff. We're going to be doing our psychic spin towards the end of the month, and you can ask the universe anything, not just personal stuff. You can ask the big questions, like all
Why
the craziness going on. And why are we here? And and we do the big stuff and what's current in the news as well, and anything along those lines. All fair game when we do psychic spin. So look for that at the end of the month there. So are you ladies ready to see who's out there? Take a couple calls here.
You bet.
Yes.
Awesome sauce. Let's see who has been waiting the longest. It looks like area code 330. Caller, are you there? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Leslie from Manhattan, Kansas. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Hey. Yeah, I got like 3 upcoming interviews this week for higher education positions working with students, and I feel very confident about all 3 of them, and I do believe that I'm going to be hired at any one of these positions somewhere in the first quarter of this year. Do you see that happening?
Okay. Can you give me a first name or just something so I can differentiate the 3? Because I'm going to look at all 3 days.
My first name?
No, first it's this place, then this place, then this place, so that I can catch the energy that way. Go ahead.
Okay. One place will be Gainesville, Florida.
Gainesville, next.
Rootstown, Ohio.
Ohio, next.
Iowa City, Iowa.
Iowa. All right. Florida, Ohio, and Iowa. Now I'm going to pull 3 threes so that now I will not say do this, don't do that, but I will tell you what the cards say. Remember, I am the toolbox. I am not the repairman. It's your free will. It's going to make a difference. All right. Florida, number 1. King of Cups. I think that they will like you in the interview. The death card does not mean you'll die when you go down there. It's not COVID, but it's going to be very, very different. You're Midwest. That's the South. It's also the North. Move to the South. So get ready for a cultural difference. Third, the 6 of Swords. There are just some things that you are going to have to leave behind that you don't get to take with you, okay? Whether it's how you teach, whether it's how you view your neighbors, whatever, it will have to be a little bit of sacrifice. Now, Ohio, number 1. 6 of Cups. That's the child card. So you're going for higher ed. Don't treat the students like children. Expect them to be adults. Second, victory through teamwork. I love that because that tells me you will get help from the organization you're with. They're not just going to throw you in the water and say, sink or swim. Third, the wheel card. That one is a little bit risky, but you play your cards right, no pun intended, and you will land well there. So that's, to me, a little bit better than Florida. What about Iowa? Prince of Pentacles. That's the good old dependable. It may not be exciting, but you can do there what they need you to do. Second, the Lover's card. To me, the Lover's card is always a card about good choice. So that may be the place that gives you a little bit of everything that you're used to. Final card is the Chariot card. I don't know how long you're going to be there, or I don't know if you're going to stay put at the one place in Iowa you are. You may travel somewhere else throughout the district. That one feels good, solid. I see no downside. Do all those make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, Florida,
Awesome.
Ohio, Iowa, which one feels right to you?
I really feel that the Iowa one is the strongest, Florida's the second strongest, and Ohio's the weakest.
Okay. There you go. Knock 'em dead, fella.
Okay.
Thanks for your call, Leslie.
Yeah.
Good luck on that. That was great. Wow. Really great call. It's so nice to have a guest on that is, really knocking it out. Mary and I get to sit back and not have to do anything. Let's just sit back here and take phone calls.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yep.
well, she covered it. She really did.
That's right. Oh gosh,
I
let's
love
see
it.
who's been waiting the longest. 3 hours been waiting here. Area code 614. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? 614.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hi, my name is Philson, and I'm calling from Columbus, Ohio.
Hi there. What can we do you out of, my friend? What's up?
I've been having a pretty rough last year, so I was wondering what good things were going to come for me in 2021.
Okay, number one, breathe. My darling, we have all been having a tough last year. I called it the year of Murder Hornet Bingo, the year of Hold My Beer, or the WTF year. It gets better, okay? But I'm going to pull 4 cards for you: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And this is how to grab all 4 of those energies this year and make them work for you. Physical, and that's all your material things, house, car, job, things like that. The card is King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups, it is male energy. So I would say they're saying you have to go ahead. It's not sitting and intuitive. It's go after what you want. But the King of Cups says don't do it because you think you have to. You have to go after what you want. If, you know, you have a choice between a slightly shakier job, but it's your heart, and working as front of a plumbing concern, do I need to tell you which one you need to do? Mentally, the Fool card. Now, here's allegory. The Fool card is not the stupid person. It's the exuberant rookie. He has a rose and a hobo bag and a dog. Think of the allegory this way. When you grab hold of what you're passionate about, carry very little old baggage, and only tell those who are loyal what you're doing. You can cross mountains and fly. So mentally, you're going to have a lot of new ideas this year. Entertain all of them. Don't talk about them. Don't keep asking everybody else, well, do you think I should? I think I should. You need to make those decisions because there will be a new road for you this year. Emotionally, the 8 of Cups. Okay, the beer is flat, the wine is sour, the water is dirty. There is no more nourishment in those cups. So the guy dons the cloak of his passion, leans on the staff of his will, says that is a mother of a road ahead, but that's where I need to go. So emotionally this year, yes, I know that last year was tough. You are going to have to walk away from those things that made it tough, whether they are those high-maintenance friends, whether it's the problem with always spending more money than you have, whatever that emotional crutch is, toss it to the side, baby, and start walking. Spiritually, Princess of Pentacles, which I always see as a Vision Quest card. Now, what's a Vision Quest? First Nations, Native Americans, they go out and fast and pray. Great Spirit, what's my totem animal? What do you want me to do? I'm a little confused. I need a clue. Here, it is literally kind of reading your own entrails. What am I here to do? What do I want to keep, switch out, or dump? So there are going to be changes next year, but the changes will be beneficial to you only if you're willing to take out the trash. If you are, then the universe supports you. Remember that the universe is a short order cook with no imagination. If you say, oh my God, this year I'm afraid it's going to be as bad as last year, the universe hears, this year, bad as last year, ordering, and that's what you get. So remember, this is a year when you get to grow up. This is a year when you tell the universe what you want. You don't just say, well, is there anything left for me? You got me?
Yes, I got it.
Good. Any other questions?
No, that all resonates. I think I know what to do.
Good.
Sweet.
That's my job.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for the call, and Happy New Year, and enjoy the rest of your weekend there. We're going to go to, we have a couple more callers we're going to try to squeeze in here. We're going to go to area code 520, the caller that's been waiting the longest. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lisa in Arizona.
Hi, Lisa. I thought that was you.
Hey, Miss Lisa. What can we do for you?
You're talking to the fabulous Corbie Mitleid.
Oh,
Go for it.
Thank you. You know what? You guys bring such balance. Your radio show, Dax. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, okay, so my question is this. I've got someone, and I keep moving the appointment date. This time I'm going to stick by it. It's going to be on Tuesday. He's coming over. He's going to look at my house. He's going to make me an offer. Is it an offer I can live with? Or I could end up doing it myself, just rejecting the offer and just doing it myself.
Okay. Do it. What is the it? Renovations?
He's going to come and make an offer on the house. If I reject his offer, then I will just take it upon myself to
sell by owner.
Scout around for other offers.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the end part.
Here's a card for you. Here's a card for dude. This is what he's going to like about the house. This is what he's going to say, not sure. This is how you're going to feel about the offer. Okay? So, yours is the justice card. You want fairness. You're not asking for the moon, but you're not going to settle for bus fare either. Dude, big thumbs up for new beginnings for him. He's ready. He is there on good faith. He wants to see if this is possible. What he likes about the house is it is not going to be such a disastrous fixer-upper that it'll take him 12 years. What he's not sure of is, are you too smart for him? Cards, the Queen of Swords. Outcome, 8 of Wands. Baby, it's going to be a little bit of negotiation. He's going to offer X. You're going to say not X, X3. He's going to say, what about X2? And you're going to go back and forth. Will you eventually make a deal with him? Yes, you will have the choice. But I think eventually he's going to come to something real.
Oh,
that makes sense?
Wow. Well,
don't be afraid to negotiate. Great. Who died and made him God?
Oh, no, I'm not afraid, believe me.
Good.
I am kind of, sometimes I back my own self into my own little corner and think, I got to get out of here and I'll take anything, And then I just woke up this morning and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. So, yeah.
I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you're going to be out of there within 6 months. Ace of Cups comes up in June. So.
Okay.
It's all right.
Well, I so appreciate it. I love the discussion. And Dax, again, thank you for for holding the spot on the air, bringing us such balance into the airwaves. The airwaves.
Thanks, Lisa. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I still look forward to this now. Really, it's toxic it's tonic for the soul compared to, what's out there or can be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
And Happy New Year. I didn't get to say Happy New Year to you yet, so there you go, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
New Year. Happy New Year to you and yours, and Mary, and your lovely guest. Thank you so much.
All righty.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Mm-hmm. Bye, Lisa. Well, it looks like we have time for maybe one more call, and if we don't get to your call today, just remember that you can call in tomorrow. That's right. Sharota Rhapsody's going to be here with the fabulous Maria G. Moss. Sorry, Mary. Maria G. Moss. And they'll be taking your phone calls tomorrow as well. I'll be back on Friday. Mary and I will be back on Saturday. So there you go. And lots of opportunities throughout the week to call into the show. Remember, it's always the same bat time, same bat place, and same bat channel. 714-816-4628. That's all you got to remember and write down. 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And last caller, we're going to go to area code 651. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Christiana. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Hi, Christiana.
Hi. Do you do general readings at all?
Sure do. When you say general, you're looking for the year or just, I don't know, what does the universe want to tell me?
Just for this year.
Yep, sure do.
Okay.
That's the 4 that I did for the other woman. So physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual for you. Physical is your material life, house, car, job, all the things that you can put your paws on. Prince of Cups. Oh, baby, go back to what you love. Spoil yourself a little bit this year. Please do not settle for, the generic spaghetti if what you really love is ronzoni. Spend the extra pennies on a ronzoni. It's important that you coddle yourself a little bit this year because, last year was rough for you on, I think, the level of things got a little smaller than you wanted. So this year, do for you. Mentally, 6 of Swords. Now, allegory. In order to go from the rough waters to the smooth, the woman in the boat mourns because she had to leave a lot of stuff back on the dock that told her who she was or the boat wouldn't float. So I think that there are some ideas about who you are that are old news that you have to dump over the side. For instance, I've never had kids. I'm 66. I can no longer think of myself as 30. I look in the mirror. I have to get real. So you need to get real for yourself too, mentally, but I think on a positive level. Get rid of all of the remembrances of what people told you you couldn't do. That's the wrong answer. Emotionally for you, the Hermit card. Now, the Hermit card can be about solitariness, but in mine, I read it as the card of truth. He's a guy carrying a lantern. There used to be a Greek philosopher named Diogenes who walked around all the time with a lit lantern. And people would say, yo, Di, it's daylight. What's with the lamp? And he'd say, I'm looking for an honest man, and it's pretty darn dark. So the most important thing for you emotionally is, I'm going to be blunt, your bullshit tolerance meter needs to be set at featherweight. If something doesn't feel right to you emotionally, kick it to the curb. Don't try to make excuses for it. Don't try to ignore it. All right? You need a clean slate emotionally this year. And spiritually, the Eight of Swords. Again, the allegory. She's bound. She's blindfolded. She's in a really icky area, and she's surrounded by swords. But if you look, she is not pinned down by the swords. If she takes off the blindfold and the binding, she's willing to look ahead and move forward fearlessly. She walks away from anything that feels dangerous. So Spirit is asking you to be fearless this year. Okay? Fear equals false evidence appearing real. Fame equals full acceptance means everything. Whether you want to be fearless or famous is going to be up to you. Got me?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for Christiana for calling in.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Great call. Happy New Year. Enjoy the rest of your fabulous weekend, and we'll talk to you again. Call back in. Bye, Christiana. Well, thank you so much, Corbie. Oh, my God. This has been an incredible episode.
I had a great time.
Oh, I know we went over. We apologize for going over, but, you know, it's like an hour and a half is not enough to talk with Corbie. We got to have her back.
I'm there. You just let me know.
All righty. Well, we'll be talking off air shortly, I'm sure, Corbie. We're just going to say goodbye for now. And remember to go over and check out our upcoming shows, psychetalk.net/upcoming. Come over to the Tarot Guild site. You know, if you're getting going in tarot or you've been doing it for 40 years, come over. Yeah, Corbie did. Come over to thetarotguild.com. thetarotguild.com. We've been doing this for 17 years. We're not newbies. You're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy being with us at the Tarot Guild. Join our Facebook group, Tarot Guild on Facebook, and, of course, the Psyche Talk Radio Facebook group as well. You'll also find Mary and me and all of our hosts on Twitter as well. Thanks, Mary. Another fantastic episode.
Yeah, thanks,
awesome,
Jax.
Son.
Thanks, Corbie. Thanks to all of our listeners and those in the chat room. We wouldn't have a show without you.
So next week, New Year's readings, right?
Yay! I really am looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. You know, let's not forget. It's going to be fun. 2021, the year that it's going to be fun. Finally.
Well, this is the first time that I've been back on the air since the New Year, so I'm going to say Happy New Year to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And goodbye, Mary. Goodbye, Corbie.
Bye, Dax. Bye, Corbie.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good night, John Boy.
Good night, Mary Ellen.